So with the help of Hashem, we're going to speak about prophecy. What is prophecy, and how do you know if you got prophecy, if it is possible to get prophecy? Okay, let's start. First of all, simple definition for prophecy will be spiritual abundance that comes into the mind of the person. Okay? And obviously, we're getting like spiritual abundance comes to our mind anyhow, all the time, right? That's what keeps us alive. Mm-hmm. But there's many different levels of how much and what kind, quantity, quality, different within the spiritual abundance. So there is a certain quality of spiritual abundance that gives the prophecy. Okay, so he's getting a certain vision, a certain voice, certain smell, a certain whatever it is, experience that has meaning, and usually it will be meaning like individually for himself or for someone around him that he's close with. And it can be, if it's like big profit, so it can be something that is for all of Am Yisrael or a different nation or the whole world. And by the way, people don't know it, but it says in the Gemara that there was more than 1,000 prophets that were not written, that their prophecies were not written in the Tanakh. Why? Because their prophecy was for their time and it didn't have meaning for the future generations. So those prophecies that did get written is the prophecies that they had meaning for the future generations. Okay? Now, okay, can we get prophecy today? That's a big question. So the simple answer would be no. Most of the rabbis will say no. Why not? Because it says in the Gemara that the prophecy was taken away. How it was taken away? That the sages in a certain generation, they captured the Yetzer Hara and they poked out one of his eyes. Okay, whatever that means. I'm not going to into that like midrash to explain it, but somehow it happened, and the result is that he took down the desire, the lust of doing al worshipping and forbidden relationships, sexual relationships with like family. So we know that those things still exist, but in those in that past time before, it was like the urge for those things was very strong. And when they poked the eye of the Yetzer Hara, so he took it down. So because we know that we have a principle of having balance between the positive and the negative, so the negative came down, so also the positive came down, and that what took out the prophecy. Okay, now we have one of the prophecies. Okay, Yoel, one of the 12 small prophets. You have in his prophecies that before the time of the final redemption, the prophecy will come back. Okay, so how much before, we don't know, it doesn't say, but sometime before the last, like the final redemption, the prophecy is supposed to come back. So there is rabbis that they say that this is the time, we are now in that time before the final prophecy, before the final redemption, therefore we should expect to have the prophecy coming back. And yeah, sure enough, there is quite a bunch of people that are saying that they are prophets, but usually most of them are just whatever, not exactly balanced, let's put it this way. But it's not out. There is a possibility like that. Now obviously it's like problematic for a rabbi to say that, because then a whole bunch of people are coming with their ideas of whatever is their prophecies, and whatever. I have all kinds of crazy experiences here in Kever David, you can imagine. But that's fine, I got used to that. I met already more than 10 Mashiachs, one Kohen Gadol, few Eliyahu Navis, one lady that she was claiming to be Hashem himself, and so on and so forth. All kinds of interesting experiences. So, okay, fine. I get used to that after a while. Anyhow, last point. How would you know that you have prophecy? So Rav Ari Kaplan, Zatzal, that I admire very much. He writes in one of his books that it's a little bit similar to the question that people sometimes ask: is it really love? When you have they have a connection with someone, and they have a certain emotion, and they're asking themselves, is it love? Do I love this person? Yeah. So the way he says it, he says, if it's that, you know it's that. When you're in love, you know that you're in love. You can't, it's nothing. You don't have a certain check mark that if I have those points, so that means that I'm in love. If I have those points, so then it means I have a prophecy. But when you have it, you know that it's there. You know that this is it. So, in other words, if you have a doubt, so probably it's not that yet. It can be some kind of sprinkle of Ruach Kodesh, divine inspiration, different things. But to have real prophecy, so it's supposed to be clear. You know that it's something different. It's not the same. It's not like another idea that comes into your mind. Something else. So that's I think a nice, good definition. That is okay. We don't say when you have a doubt, throw it out. We don't say that. You have a doubt, keep it in your pocket. But give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And that's, I think, most of the people today, that they have all kinds of inspiration, and they think maybe it's prophecy, maybe it's meaningful, maybe. Fine, okay, good. You don't have to ignore it. But if for example, if the if the inspiration would be, to go to buy a lottery, so don't spend all your money on that. You can buy a ticket if you want, but don't spend all your money on that. Okay, fine, you got inspiration, it's good, it's nice, but give it the benefit of the doubt. Besides of that, generally my approach is, if it moves you to do something positive, go with it. If it moves someone, Chas v'Shalom, to do something negative, ignore it. One of the many people that came to me that were claiming that they have prophecy, so he said that Hashem speaks to him, which is basically prophecy. And I told him, okay, that's very interesting. Can you give me an example? What exactly did he tell you? And he told me, one time I had this this voice that came to me. Hashem told me to ride my motorbike and to go quickly to my grandmother, that she's living in whatever settlement. And it was Friday, and I get there just before Shabbat came in. I was able to get out of the motorcycle. So for him, the fact that it was so exact that he came out of the motorcycle exactly in the last moment before Shabbat comes in, so that was a sign that it was a real prophecy. Okay? Let's say that he would have called me in that point, that before he's riding his motorbike to his grandmother, and tell me, hey Rabbi, I just got a prophecy to go as fast as I can to visit my grandmother. Should I go? Probably I would have tell him, look, it's risky, you might break Shabbat. Why to risk it? If you know that your grandmother needs you and it's SOS, fine. But just because you have a certain inspiration that to drive on your motorcycle to the last minute before Shabbat, it's not right to do that halachically. Before Shabbat you have to get everything organized and be ready to accept Shabbat before Shabbat comes in. Not to get out of your motorcycle just in the last minute before Shabbat comes in. It's not right to do that halachically. So for me, it's not super negative, like doing a sin. It didn't break Shabbat in that, but it's not right to do that. So okay, you got inspiration, fine. And if he would have told me, for example, that his mother was in a state of risk and he was there exactly in the last moment to save her, so then I would have said, okay, that's interesting. That was significant inspiration. that he was there in the right time for her. But it was not the case, so that's an example that for me it's like obviously the person is not balanced and it's not real prophecy, but for him it's like it's prophecy. I'm not going to argue with anyone like that. Yeah, there's tons of people that they have all kinds of ideas, and fine, Bezrat Hashem, be healthy, enjoy, no problem. That's generally my approach. Bezrat Hashem, soon everybody will be prophets, right? Mashiach is coming, and the redemption is here, and the abundance that Hashem wants to give us is mostly also prophecy. Bezrat Hashem soon. Amen.